Hey soldiers, it looks like high-placed individuals within the U.S. government are starting to realize that weaponizing the dollar was a terrible idea. And now all those chickens are coming home to roost. We've got a U.S. senator saying, you know what, this is not good. Can we get our dominance back? Can we get our groove back as a nation? Well, we can, but do we have the will to do what's necessary? We're going to talk about that. Now, you also, at the same time, you have this very powerful U.S. senator saying, listen, we made the wrong move here. We've gone sanction happy. Weaponizing the dollar has had a disastrous effect, more so on America than on Russia. Okay? Time we have a U.S. senator saying this, interestingly enough, we have another component of the U.S. government doubling down and actually imposing more sanctions. All right? Even in the midst of all of the calamity this has caused our economy and will cause our economy going forward. We're going to cover all of that. I need you to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. You will have enlisted and become a soldier of finance. Let me know you did that. Let me know you did that in the comments and I will salute you. Of course, I salute all of the soldiers of finance all across the globe. I appreciate you guys. Now, do me a favor. Do me a big solid. If you're watching this video, just hit that thumbs up. It's really easy to do. I need you to hit the thumbs up simply because it tells YouTube that, listen, this content is valuable and I vote with my thumbs up that you, YouTube, should pass this on, make it available to other people. Thank you in advance. Now, housekeeping item. I got two comments. One was very thoughtful. The other not so much. But the first one, the individual said, "Hey, listen, I'm getting kind of bummed out here. The content seems to be doom and gloom." All right, let me address that. And I did write this person back. Our exchange is in the comment section of one of the videos we did in the last few days. Let me address this. This is, and the other comment said, just simply said, fear porn. Okay. You can take the information we give and how we present it in any way you like. Okay, that is your personal, right. However, what my intent here, what I'm intending to do is present you with a set of facts, okay? And then on top of that, I want to express my opinions about those facts. Now, I never tell you what to do. I just tell you what I'm doing, okay? And then you have to go out and, like I always say, do your due diligence. Now, you can approach this in many different ways. When I give you information, and then when I express my opinion, you can discard it. You can say it's fear porn, or you can use it in the way it is intended to say, you know what? These things are occurring, and I want to be able to protect my family. I want to be able to make sure myself and the ones I love can still obtain financial independence in this ever-evolving, quickly evolving economy. Okay? So, listen, like I addressed with the guy who said that, hey, is that title clickbait? And it turned out that it wasn't. Okay, it was anything but clickbait. We don't need to do clickbait with the world and the situation that it is today. Okay, headlines are just out there for the picking. This is not fear porn. This is information. And look, I gotta say this. My grandmother always used to say when we were kids, she used to say, hey, I want to grow up. I can't wait till I'm grown. She used to always say, don't rush it. Well, here we are in adulthood. And guess what? The world is not always a pleasant place to reside in. We have to take the good with the bad. And we have to just pull ourselves up and brace up and understand that things aren't always hunky-dory. So in order to live the best lives that we can, we have to examine the information that's on the table, to deal with it accordingly. All right. So that's all I'll say about that. Now, we do have Senator Marco Rubio out there, and he is making some statements commensurate with his belief that we've just overplayed our hand. We have overplayed our hand, and now the rest of the world sees that the emperor has no clothes. Marco Rubio is basically stating that, look, what you gonna do? We gonna sanction everybody? Okay, we already see that more and more countries are deciding to align themselves with the East, okay, in that bloc that China is starting to put together, China and Russia. Again, I just can't stress enough, the sanctions have done more harm. When you look at this, when you look back on this in history, the historians are not going to be able to believe it. They're going to say, wow, did they shoot themselves in the foot? In a video widely circulated on the internet, U.S. Senator Marco Rubio lamented the decline of the U.S. dollar and its hegemony and said there will be so many countries transacting in currencies other than the dollar that we won't have the ability to sanction them all. Absolutely not. At present, the U.S. is irresponsible with its monetary policy, especially continuous interest rate hikes. Anger and dissatisfaction toward U.S. dollar hegemony have been accumulating. With that as a backdrop, the sanction inability theory, hyped by Rubio, may add fuel to the fire. So these countries are looking at this, and we're starting to realize now that, they're ganging up, okay? They've turned the tables on the schoolyard bully in many respects, okay? And again, I love this country, love America. But I am very suspicious of this government. I think it is by and large corrupt and has been so for many decades now. And again, that is starting to come back around to bite us. In the past, the U.S. established dollar hegemony to keep global finance and currency circulation under its control. But so many years have passed. The U.S.-centered financial system has no longer adapted to new patterns of global economic development. Although there is no need to deny the U.S. dollar will remain the most frequently used currency for the foreseeable future, I still say mid-2030s, it should be acknowledged that a global trend toward de-dollarization has already begun. And not only has it begun in earnest, it is accelerating. We just saw the president of Brazil. Now, Brazil is the largest economy in South America, and they are realigning very swiftly with Russia. They just came off of Bolsonaro as their president, and now the new president of Brazil is openly questioning the economic dominance of the United States. Xi Jinping and Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva struck a unified pose in defiance of U.S. foreign and trade policy in a meeting in Beijing on Friday. Now, he made a speech, he being da Silva, made a speech down in or over in China. And part of what, he put out there is that he's going to work to expand trade and balance world geopolitics. Okay, so the United States is not going away, but it's going to be a much less influential player on the board. All right. And then, in a speech that he made in China, he goes on to say, every night I ask myself why every country needs to trade in the dollar. Who decided it was the dollar after the disappearance of the gold standard? Well, sir, Mr. Da Silva, President Da Silva, I will say this. It was the Saudis and America who made that decision in 1973. So just doesn't seem like he's really up on his economic history. But nonetheless, he doesn't have to be. He's realigning with China, the largest economy in Brazil. Total realignment. Okay, so much so that China and Brazil have created a trade agreement that excludes the U.S. dollar. This was done a few weeks ago. Now, in the midst of all of that, you would think that the U.S. would be just sitting down, having every think tank and confab trying to figure out how to reverse this course. But no, we double down, further curbing Russia's efforts to evade sanctions and perpetuate its war against Ukraine. That is a State Department document authored by Antony Blinken, our Secretary of State here in America. Today, the Department of State and the Department of Treasury are imposing sanctions on more than 120 entities and individuals across more than 20 countries and jurisdictions in connection with the Russian Federation's unlawful and unprovoked invasion of Ukraine, including facilitators of sanctions evasion. Now, you might think, hey, well, Tyrone, yeah, we put the sanctions on them. That was earlier this year, man. Where you been? What's going on? Or last year even. That wasn't recent, right? Actually, this was April 12th. So additional sanctions have been slapped onto individuals that are being identified as helping Russia evade the sanctions. So we must be out of options with Russia. Okay, no more sanctions for them, right? We can't do any more. And they're still fighting in Ukraine. In fact, you just saw Vladimir Putin visit the front line in Ukraine. All right. Head of state visiting the front lines. That spells, it doesn't spell victory for Ukraine. I'll just say that. More than 1 year into Russia's unprovoked invasion of Ukraine, the effects of our globally coordinated sanctions have forced the Russian Federation to search for alternative routes to finance and fuel its war machine. In coordination with the United Kingdom, we are targeting sanctions evasion networks supporting one of Russia's wealthiest billionaires, Alisher Usmanov, who was sanctioned by the United States last year. So he's already been sanctioned, and he's still, out there doing his thing. And so how effective are these sanctions? It looks like what's happening is, again, as the United States becomes minimized away from its power position, something like 70 to 80% of the world's economies are still dealing with Russia. Okay, so the sanctions are having a diminishing effect on the people that the sanctions are targeting. They're having one hell of an effect on us. Okay, here in the United States of America, of all places. Okay, it's like, you ever see the picture that it's a pistol and it's tied into a knot, and the barrel is facing back toward the person that's holding the weapon. Okay, that's how a liberal would build a firearm. Okay, that's exactly what they would do. And now we see that the economic equivalent has been constructed in the form of weaponized sanctions, put the dollar at risk, and they are not, you bleed speed, take your foot off the pedal, and just let the car slow down. They're not even doing that. No, they are just mashing that gas. BMW, which used to be a great brand, is no more. Have you seen the grill on these cars? It looks ridiculous. Plastic parts in the engine, just total fiasco. The cars are trash now. But we own one that's older, okay? And it has what's called a kick down mode. And basically what you do is you put your foot on the pedal and you think it's on the floor, but if you want a real good burst of speed, you just press it down again and it'll go to the kick down mode and it, boom, like Knight Rider, turbo boost, okay? Speed racer. Well, that is what the State Department just did with our sanctions regime. They just said, hey, there's a brick wall up ahead and we're not approaching fast enough. Kick down mode, okay? Pedal to the metal. So there we have it, guys. This is reality, not fear porn, all right? Not doom and gloom either. Let this inform you on how you need to move forward productively. This is information. It's like a chessboard. Now you have information where you should move, where you should not move, what assets you might want to go after, what assets you might want to stay away from, okay? Dollar-denominated assets might have some dark days ahead, okay? But remember, stocks of quality companies, especially these global conglomerates, it's not going to be a light switch, guys. We're still going to need to eat. We're still going to need to live in homes. We're still going to need to be entertained, okay? But some things will change. We've been over that many times. Let me just direct your attention to one of the latest videos we did. Now, this is part and parcel to what we just talked about, because we're going to see more of this type of thing. As the dollar loses dominance, we're going to see higher inflation and higher taxes. Now, what we're seeing in a moderate to high inflationary environment, in a rising interest rate environment, we're seeing a 2-year drop in wages for Americans. So in effect, America is getting poorer. That's going to have a hell of a devastating effect on the consumer economy. Watch this video right here where we talk about this dramatic wage decrease. Americans are facing high inflation and they're not even keeping their heads above water. We're drowning here. Watch the video. Find out more. In that video, there's something that you should be doing, considering very strongly to help your financial position. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.